straight on the mat because I really want to have a go at caging some crystal beads in with some seed beads. And I just sort of want to get started and straight get in and do it. So I kinda were thinking to do more of a sort of a bangle style weave, and I'm just going to use some seed beads. I'm going to use right angle weave like all the time. All the time thinking I'm going to do something else, I'm not going to use right angle weave, and then you go and I am using right angle weave. So what we're going to do is we're going to work out, these crystals are 4 by 6 millimeter. We could try with a bigger one, obviously we could work it with pearls, but I think and I'm going to use size 11 seed beads. I think it will work quite nicely. So we will see. I kind of like want to go and add the crystals in as we go along. I'm going to take my cardigan off, and I have got the window open, so if it gets a bit noisy outside, then I will shut it. But I'm just, I don't know, I'm feeling warm tonight. So I'm hoping the weather is warming up and we're going to have, and summer is coming soon. So good evening, Linda. Good evening, Christine. Nice to see you here. So what we're going to do, I kind of want the crystals to sit in a row like that, and we're going to come up with the seed beads on one side, and we will have a bottom of it as well, I guess. So we're working out how many seed beads we need underneath it and around it, and how we're going to come up into the middle of it. Let me just move this over a bit. That's it. And there we go. How are we going to come up in the middle of it and secure these crystals out? So we kind of have 2 rows of seed beads, and the crystals are sitting. Good evening, Barbara. See, good evening. Right, so I think just by looking at it, so if I was to work something out, I'm gonna, let's pick up some seed beads, and I'm just gonna put it next to it. So I think 4 seed beads, because we're going to have to come up in the middle. We have to go with 4 on either side, and I reckon I'm actually 2 seed beads. So I'm going to pick up 12 seed beads to start with. 1, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Of course, it might not work at all. We will see. I'm going to go through all of this. And I kind of want to have a cage on top of it. So just the last 2. Actually, I'm going to go through the first 4 again to work away from my tail. So if this is my bottom, and I want sort of squares going up, so I'm going to need 12 again for this side, 12 again on this side, but I already got 4 there, so is 12 the right number? Yeah, so I've got 4 there, so I need 6, 8, yeah, another 8, and then I'm gonna come through these 4 again. Then I'm gonna go in the next 2 on my base. I'm gonna pick another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna come through the 4 from what I just made, and the 2 on the top. So kind of gonna make this stand up, and I'm gonna turn it again, go through the next 4. A little bit like cubic right angle weave. I'm gonna pick up, so I got 2 as well here now, so I only need 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna come down on the 2 there, along the 4 at the bottom, and then all I left to do is to go along the 2 up the first two, and then coming down on the last two of the previous loop. And if, oh no, we forgot to pick up two. Hang on, back up. We need 2 seed beads for this side as well. Now coming down on those two. So when I pull this up, we should have like sort of a rectangle shape, and our crystal should go and sit there on the top. So we and we're gonna go along and make more and more units. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna come in these, hold on, this is the bottom row, well, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna come into these two in sort of the longer length. I'm gonna pick up the crystal, and then I'm gonna go towards the other side. You might don't need 2 deep length, 1 deep might be enough. So that's what we're gonna find out size wise. How is it gonna all fit? I don't want the crystal to sit right in it. Yes, too deep is gonna be too big. The 2 deep, because at the bottom I want sort of nice and flat and only seeing the seed beads. So if you look at it from the side, but I want this to pop out a little bit more. So this unit is too big for this crystal. It's the top part of it is the 12 seed beads, I think is perfect, but it's too deep. So we're gonna have to go down to 1. My watch just started talking. Good evening, Amelia. Good evening, DIY Wedding. Tracy, good evening. How did your sponsored walk go? Could I tell you all about it? Christina Beckham, good evening. Right, so I'm going to start again, but instead of on the sides having 2 seed beads, I'm just going to have 1. So it's going to be just sort of 1 in between and see what goes. I'm wondering if we can add the crystal as we go along, or perhaps start with the crystal. So I'm going to leave this at the end of my thread and just start further up again and see what we got. Are you all right, Roxy? I think she's eating one of her toys, bless her. So if we start with the crystal, then we need 6 on one side, 6 on the other side. So if I pick up I pick up the crystal first, and then we're going to go through the crystal more than once. So I think that will be great. So 6 on one side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 on the other. So the walk on Sunday, oh my word, oh my word. So you could have done it either way. So you could either walked from Bolton to Clacton or from Clacton to Walton. You could have done sort of one side or to sort of walk there and back. I didn't realize when I signed up, I did sign up to go both ways. And when I got to the registration, I actually got the lady to change it to one way, because I think 40 miles would have been just way too much. So she changed it for me to 7 miles. We walked from Walton to Clacton. It was great. It was so like, I think there was over 600 people doing it, and the atmosphere was fantastic. Some people were dressed up as unicorns. Some people, like loads of people, had loads of sort of different sponsored t-shirts, and all sorts of things were going on. I think it was great, and everybody was doing it. So some people started in Bolton and some people started in Clacton, and you kind of met in the middle, which I think was really cool as well, as we were going through. So we got to Clacton. I can't remember how long it took me to walk all the way there. Roxy was with me, and bless her, she done so well. So in Clacton, I thought like, okay, let's have a coffee, and we definitely deserve a carrot cake. So I had a piece of carrot cake, and then I was like, Well, well, maybe we could try to sort of walk back. So at this point, we done 11k already, and the longest I ever did with a walk was 18k. And if I walked all the way back, it would have been 22k. So I started to walk back, but to be honest, about like 15k-ish, which is about 10 miles, I started to feel that I had enough. Like I was thinking all sorts of thoughts were coming in my mind, like, oh, I should be at home doing beading instead, or doing something. It's like, you know, and by sort of 18k, I was feeling, I was kind of like struggling a little bit, like I couldn't really feel my feet. So I decided to come home instead. So I did 20k in the end, which I think it's quite good. And I'm really happy with it. And yeah, and I would do it again, but I think if I do it next year, I definitely will have to sort of do things for it. Do like maybe 10-15 Ks, or I'm not really sure, but pre-train for it, because in one go it was long. I mean, a 20k took me like almost 5 hours to do, so but it was like we stopped and started, and on the way back, like I had to sit down on a few benches. Like I like that one better because it's reduced the size there, and then I think it looks more as a nice unit. I'm gonna go ahead and add another unit on it, and then we will see how it's gonna look. So I think, yeah, we should be able to use the sides as well. It doesn't really matter sort of which side you start with. So on the side we've got 10 beads, so I need 9. So on the way back, as we were walking back, and I think Roxy was tired too, because whenever we were like coming up to a bench, she would like slightly run ahead a little bit and then sit down under the bench, encouraging us to sit down too for a few minutes. And it was great. I really enjoyed it. 1, 2. So I need to come through the 4 here. And along those 2 as well. I'm just coming out. And then sort of, I got nothing to hold on to it just yet. I need to pick up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then go down on the 4. So I'm just going to add the seed beads as if they were like cubic right angle weave for a second, see what happens along the 2. And I still need to add the crystal in. And then along the 4, picking up 2 and down the other 4. These look very pretty. And thank you. I'm not sure, like I was just thinking about, and I think we could do sort of multi-rows as well, but we're definitely going to have to find an easier thread path for this. There we go. I think perhaps we could use some bugles in some places as well. So I'm going to come to the front. I'm going to add the crystal. Or perhaps, I don't know, maybe we should add the crystal all the way along and then add the cage, or do the bottom. Oh, that's interesting. We could do it that way, to do like a whole row on the bottom, and then maybe do one side and come back and do the other side. So this is the second crystal going in, but I think I went through those seed beads quite a few times, so I do definitely need to find a better thread path for it. The DIY Dream Wedding saying, I walked 6 miles once and that was hard work. Hi Julie, nice to see you. Hey, Lucy said it's always forget about Wednesday 7 p.m. I'm gonna have to start texting you. Mommy Guide Ink. Hi, everyone. Hi, how are you? Just glad to catch you again. Good evening. Can't wait for these kids. Well, I don't know if they're gonna be kids. We'll see. We're just playing so far. I think 80% of the time when I play with something, it just sort of goes on the side, and sometimes I find it 6 months later. So let's see. What is this? It doesn't want to go in. I want this to sit in. Oh, I just had to push in. I find it 6 months later, and then I was like, oh, I still like that. Okay, so how can we make this easier for us? So they kinda, I think we'll have to put it together at the bottom anyway, but no, I think it would sit nicely as a unit as well. Sort of embedded in. If the crystal was this way, would that be easier? Sort of come in that way. That could be, that we could try that as well, but I think I want to sort of want to try it this way. So if I'm at the top, if I start with the crystal, so what I'm going to do, that would be 2 seed beads, then the crystal, then another 2 seed beads. I'm going to come through this again. So if I add the crystal on first, then I don't have to push it in, and I can pull quite tight around it. So then we got the crystal. Do we go in and add the other seed beads in at the same time? I'm going to do that. So I'm going to come through the crystal, and I'm going to pick up another 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I come to the crystal again, and then we kind of can go down and along. And I need to pick up 5 because I got 1 and then 4 on that side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna come down. I think we need to kind of do different color seed beads as well, so you can easily identify which one you need to go through, or we could perhaps do different sizes. So this single seed bead in between could be a size 8, and therefore it would be sort of easier to identify it. So now I'm going to need 6 because I got 4 and 2. 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to come down on this 4, along this 2. I'm going to go along this single one, up this side, and the next 2 pulling those together, trapping the crystal in it. I'm going to pick up a single one and then come down on this 4. Okay, so if I chosen a different bead or different, and again come to the top, and I need to sew these 8 together here as well. So if those 4 corner ones would be a different color, or if it would be a different bead, I think that would make it really easier where do we have to go and when. I kind of quite like it, and it's very simple because you only need sort of a couple of materials on this one. So what could we use? Could we use a size 8? What shall we use? So these single beads here, I think they should be either a different color or a different size. Let me know in the chat what shall we try, and then the next unit I'm going to put it in so we can see the progression on it. Or should the top be bigger? But no, we can add a single seed bead in there it kind of run down on one side and run up on the other side, which then I think it's going to force it into a curve anyway. But then they have to be the same size as that. So different color or different size. Let me know, what shall we experiment with next. Our Ruth is saying, please press the like button. Thank you. Thank you very much, Ruth. I always forget to say it. Every single like, every single subscribe, every single thing helps the channel tremendously. And actually, I was looking at today because and I'm gonna click on it to find out, because it was we are 3,980 subscribers. I'm so grateful. I can't believe we just like 20 subs away from 4,000. Just like so great. Different color, Tracy said. Try size 11 Toho in different color. Yeah, I'm gonna try a different color then. So I'm gonna grab I'll grab this one, which is sort of a lighter pink, so it should really show up. Right, so we're gonna go up to the top. We're gonna add our crystal in first. So let's see. I'm gonna pick up 2 seeds and the crystal and another 2 seeds. I'm gonna come through these 2. Well, then I pull the angle away. Let's pull the tail through. There we go. Give us some more thread. Then I'm gonna go into these 2 seeds and the crystal. Just follow my thread path around, and I'm gonna add 6 seed beads on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm gonna come through this crystal again, and then I'm gonna come down into the 2 and into the single one. I'm gonna pick up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 of that color, then a single sort of the lighter color. So now we're gonna know, and then I'm gonna go down on the 4 there and along that single one. Make sure that's sitting right way. Then I'm gonna go along 2 here. I'm gonna pick up 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and another 2. And I'm gonna come down on that 4 again, along this 2. I'm gonna go around up the side of the crystal. I'm going to pick up a single other color and then go through those 4. So I'm completing the last side, up that one, along the side of the crystal again, that through. I added some lotion on my hand before I started, and lotion is great because it moisturizes your hand, and also makes it slippery, so when you want to pull the needle through sometimes. I'm just gonna sew these together here, and then I'm ready to go and add the next one. So now we got those seed beads there, so we kind of know the corners. I do think it's a little bit, well, I think it's all right. It's tight, but I think it's all right. And then if you force a seed bead in or pull the bottom together, like in between there, I think it will make it into a nice sort of curve. Right, I'm going to add another unit, so I'm right at the front. So 2 seed beads, 1, 2, a crystal, another 2 seed beads, coming through there again, up the side here, through the crystal, picking up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Going down. And then it actually doesn't really matter which direction we go to. I'm gonna come this way. So I'm gonna pick up 4 of the darker pink, 1 of the lighter pink. I'm gonna come down on these 4. There we go. Maybe we should use a pearl. We should try it out with like a 3mm pearl. And then along. No. I turned the wrong way. I need to go along the base because I'm gonna come back on myself. Nat is asking, how's Oski? Hi Nat, how are you? She's great, really. I hope, like, I measured her yesterday. She's 25 kilos still for the last month, so I just hope she's not going to be putting any more weight on. She's 11 months now, because I can still just about lift her up. She's doing really great. Been such a good girl. I've been brushing her a lot lately because her winter coat is coming out, and oh my god, the amount of, like, she doesn't really shed hair all over everywhere, but when you start brushing her at the moment, there is just so much coming out. So we've been like brushing half an hour every single day, bless her. Right, and then going up to the top. I haven't taken her for a walk today, so after the live we're gonna pop out because I'm loving this lighter evenings now. I really like this, but I do think we need to spice it up somehow. So we need something else in there which is gonna look kind of like a little bit different. We could use a bugle bead there, perhaps. For me, the bugle bead will be too big, but I'm gonna grab one. The bugle bead. So what if those two at the middle, we replaced it with a bugle bead? I think that could be interesting. And well, we could do it all with a bugle bead, I guess, but I think it's better to leave the seed beads on the outside. So I want to try that. Let's try that. I'm going to try a different color, so we're not, so it kind of stands out. How about this one? Let's try this purple one on there, or this darker purple. Darker purple, lighter purple. Maybe the lighter one. Lighter one or darker one, which one shall we try in between? Maybe the lighter one goes better. I'm just going to try a few of those. I also want to grab some 3mm pearls because I think on the side here, instead of that single seed bead, we could add a 3mm pearl in. And what would that do? When you look at your sort of bracelet from the side, it's just going to give that really nice detail from the side as well. So I'm just going to grab a similar color 3mm pearl, which one I can put my hand on. I think this one will do. That one, or if I want to match the, no, that's not it. I'm thinking if I want to match, yeah, probably that one is closer to it. The little bugle bead at the top. So if I introduce the bugle bead in there, shall we start a new thread, or shall we just keep on going? I'm going to start a new thread because there's not that much left now, and start again. So I'm going to have a bugle on the top. We could have bugle on the bottom as well. So kind of they could be in both side and just see how much. So with using just the seed beads, because we're using 2 seed beads instead of one sort of bugle, what happens is kind of rounds off. I think when we put the bugle in there, it's gonna be more square shape maybe. That is saying I'm okay. I wish that we make into the open day, but we'll be there on the next one. Microcrystal on each corner, yeah, that could work as well. I'm gonna try the pearls first, and then we try the microcrystal light one. Oh, how about rainbow crystals? Yeah, light, looks really nice. Loving the pink. Yeah, I thought of you when I grabbed the pink out this this evening. Right, so starting a new thread. So our pattern is going to be slightly different now, because we're going to start with a crystal, aren't we? So I'm going to pick up a crystal. I'm going to pick up 2 seed beads, a bugle, 2 seed beads, and I'm going to come through the crystal again. And I'm going to repeat that one more time. So 2 seed beads. Just wrap this around my finger so just kind of sits there. 2 seed beads, bugle, 2 seed beads, come through the crystal again, and then I'm gonna go down. It doesn't really matter which end, I guess. So I have to pick up a pearl, 4 seed beads, 1, 2, 3, 4, and another pearl. I think with the microcrystals they would work as well, but the pearl will stand out more because it's just a little bit bigger. Go through these 4 again and pull this up. Then I'm gonna go down into the pearl. I'm gonna pick up a bugle and another pearl and come through this bugle and pearl. So that will be kind of my base. That's the best way. I'm gonna come through the bugle. I'm gonna pick up 4 seed beads in a bugle, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a bugle, and then come through these 4 here. And I'm gonna move around, so I'm gonna go into the bugle, into the pearl, up this side of the crystal into all 4. 1, 2, 3. Let's pull it through. 4. I'm gonna pick up a pearl and then go through these 4 on the other side. There we go. So let's have a look at the unit now. I'm gonna go into the pearl and I'm gonna come to the top. I think we need to add at least 1 more unit so we can see. I think the pearls, they do make it a little bit bigger. So perhaps maybe we needed a bigger crystal as well, but I need to add another unit so it kind of pulls itself. So we are right at the top. I'm picking up 2 seeds, a crystal, another 2 seed, coming through the bugle, and then turning it, going through the pearl. Oh no, no, hang on. No, because we need to add, come back. Will I be able to put it back without getting caught? Will I be able to put it back without getting caught? No, I won't. So let's turn, I'm gonna take the needle off, because we should have added the other seed beads on the and the bugle on the other side of that crystal first. So let's take this back. This is when you find that you got caught. Right, there we go. Good evening, Jen. It's nice to see you. Christine, good evening. Oh, just have to say I love Creation Station. Look forward it every week. Oh, bless you. Thank you. It's just really, you know, there is no no boundaries. It's really just me like trying to come up with things and doing things together, and I'm so glad you like it, and I'm able to sort of share, because I do think I love beading, and beading is very, very therapeutic, and you know, I could sit here and hours and hours and hours to do it, but I think it can be social as well, and this way I love that, like, you know, I know like you can't like talk to me, but you are able to influence it, what we're doing, and sometimes you kind of like, oh, what's the saying? You can't see the tree from the forest. Like when you're trying to do something, you need somebody else to point out, like, oh, well, but what about if you put this here and you put that there, and perhaps like, you know, add here to it or add there to it, or like, you know, whatever is the pattern is, and you come up with things better together, I think. So coming through the crystal again, and now we got this side as well. Now we're gonna go down in the two seeds and into the pearl. So now we need to pick up 4 seeds and the pearl. Yes, that's right. And the pearl, and then we're going to come down on these 4 seeds. And what I love the most is like this, that we start off with a concept, and then we end up chopping and changing. It's all sort of different looks and different beads, and it's gonna look so much better and different, and with every single bead change it can be different. I'm coming down on this side, and along those two, along the bugle, those two, right, along the pearl, and then up the side of the crystal, picking up a pearl, and then one more seed bead, picking up a pearl, down on this side of this 4, up that pearl again, and then just getting to the next side. So coming to the end. Right, let's have a look. Definitely it's a little bit bigger, but I do think it will fit nicely. Let's add one or two more units and we see. So through the bugle, a couple of crystals. Wood for the trees. Can I see the wood for the trees? Arjun is saying I love Creation Station. I'm watching. I just love creating. I just love being creative, and I just love trying out things, and it's all the what if we change this, and what if we change that, and I just so good. Right, up the 2 seed beads. Maybe instead of the bugle we could use a couple of microcrystals as well, and then have it a bit more rounder in a way, but then you got that little sparkle in there, but then the crystals are in there already. Down the side into the pearl, then I am picking up 4 seeds and the pearl, on this side, and that pearl, and then we're going along into the bugle, and we're gonna pick up 4 seeds in the bugle. So I think with the seeds now, because we're always picking up 4 seed beads, it kind of make a bit more sense. Where do I need to go? Like I don't have to think about it so much. Where do I have to add 5 and 6, and where do I have to add so many through the pearl? Up on this side of the crystal. So sometimes changing a bead can be good, really good as well, make the pattern so much easier. And I'm still doing the same beading, but because they're different beads, I can kind of see like where and how much I have to add. Down on this side, and through the pearl, and then getting to the end. I'm not sure if I like the bugles in there, I have to be honest. So I think we might need to change that to something else. What do you think? Let me know. Let me just pull this through, and I'm going to start adding another unit, and let me know in the chat what do we think of those bugles. I'm not 100% sure. I quite like the side with the pearl. I think that looks really cute, because when you're going to wear this as a bracelet, you got that little bit of depth on the side of your hand, and even if you look at it from the top, like you're just about to kind of a little bit of a glimpse of it coming through as you move your hand, I guess. So I like the pearls on the side. I would definitely keep those there. I'm not sure about the bugles themselves. So what do we think of the bugles? Let me know in the chat. What do you think of the bugles? Shall we keep them, or shall we try something else? I'm going to add another unit while you're letting that know. So 2 seeds and the crystal, and another 2 seeds through the bugle, the 2 new seeds through the crystal, then 2 seeds, bugle 2 seeds. Oh no, you are picking up 2 seeds here, I guess. And then we're gonna turn down towards the previous unit, straight into the pearl. Why not pearls on the top? Because we need something straightish or something smallish, because otherwise the gap, so let me just stitch this through, and I'll show it to you. The gap is not really that great in between the crystals themselves, which is already on there. We'll have a look. Let me just finish this unit and we'll have a look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes you just need to do a little bit more, and a bugle coming through these 4 into the bugle, putting it nice and tight into the pearl, up the side of the crystal, there we go, and then we just need to add a pearl in there. Take a couple more of that strand. And then on this side, the 4 seeds, and along and up to the top. Making sure that crystal kind of sits inside. I'm sure there's other ways we could do this. There is, like, maybe we could make like a flat. How would that work if you made flat side? So if you didn't have this side, yeah, we could make like a flat bracelet and then add the crystals in and pull it in afterwards all the way along. We could do that as well. So imagine like if you didn't have the bugles on here, you would have one side there, one side the bottom, and one side this one. So you just make like a flat right angle weave piece, and then join the two ends together with a crystal. We could do it that way as well, which probably maybe it would be easier a little bit. How about a bicon instead of bugle beads? A bicon wouldn't work because, and I actually have got a bicon here. This is only a 3mm bicon, but can you see like where is the widest part of the crystal there? So if I add the bicon on the top, it's not really like, it doesn't really want to sit right. You kind of need either two bicones, two smaller bicones, or like a peanut shaped bead, or a seed bead, or like that bugle bead. There is nothing really, so we got more space on the corners there and there, but in the middle it's quite close. Otherwise we can make our cages bigger and then we can use a bicone. So for the same reason, let me just grab a pearl. The same reason the pearl, I don't think it would work. We can try, we can certainly try a pearl on the top, but I think if we added a pearl on the top, if I would show it to you on the side way, I think it would pull the, it would push the crystal down. It would push the crystal down. Maybe. I mean, all we can do is try, but then how will this, if you do put the pearl on the top, perhaps if you open the top up a bit more. Okay, I'm gonna try something else. So what I'm gonna do, and I think I'm gonna leave, we could actually leave a pearl at the bottom as well. So we could have, okay, let's try this. I'm gonna get a separate piece of thread and very quickly bead a flat piece up, and then we're gonna pull it together. So how does that gonna, how would that work? Would that be any easier? So we need, and we're gonna add pearls on all sides. It's kind of, if you add pearls on all sides, it will, it will be, at least it will be even, and then we see if we can pull it one side. We might end up with a straight piece of beading. So if we start with a flat piece and then pull it together, so we're gonna have to have three sides. So, but then they're all gonna be the same. Yes, so I'm gonna start with a pearl. Let me just get a few more pearls here. So I'm gonna start with a pearl. Now I'm gonna start with 4 pearls, because that will be the very end. 1, 2, 3, 4. There. No, I won't, because I'm not doing cubic. I'm doing flat. I'll leave those on there. So I take it off when I cut it. So I'm gonna start with a pearl, 4 seed bead, 1, 2, 3, 4. Another pearl. And another 4 seed bead, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna take this down. I'm gonna come through the pearl. So I have got kind of like that. That could be my side. Then I'm gonna go up in the 4 seed bead. I'm gonna pick up 1 pearl, 4 seed beads, 1, 2, 3, 4. And another pearl. I'm gonna come through those 4 seed beads again, and then I'm gonna come along in the pearl and the 4 seed bead. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna pick up 1 pearl, 4 seed bead, 1, 2, 3, 4, and another pearl. And then I'm gonna come down on these 4 seed beads. And without adding any crystal on, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead, weave my thread to the other side. So I'm stepping sort of the end of those, and I'm going to start again. And actually we will be sewing those pearls together, so we can kinda start to sew them together. So I'm going to pick up 4 seeds, 1 2 3 4, a pearl and another 4 seeds, 1 2 3 4. I'm going to come through the pearl and then go into the next pearl. I'm going to pick up 4 seed beads, 1, mind the seed bead in between there to cover the thread path, 1 2 3 4, and the pearl. Come down these 4 along the pearl and the pearl in front of it, and pull this up nice and tight. And I'm picking up 4 seeds, 1 2 3 4, and a pearl, coming down on this side, and along that pearl. And then I'm going to come to the next row. So I'm going to go along the 4 seeds. I'm going to do a couple of rows so we got something sort of to hold on to into the pearl. I'm picking up 4 seed beads, so we will end up with the same effect, but we're starting out with a flat piece. So 4 seed beads, pearl, another 4 seed beads, coming through the pearl and the pearl in front, 4 seed beads again, 1 2 3 4, and the pearl, coming through these 4, the pearl and the pearl in front, picking up 4 seed beads and the pearl, going down into the pearl, and I'm gonna turn it around, get to the end. I'm just gonna add one more bit, so a few more pearls as well. So I'm gonna go through the pearl, I'm gonna pick up 4 seed beads, 1 2 3 4, and a pearl and another 4 seed beads, pearl, pearl, 4 seed beads, and the pearl, and then along another 4 seed beads, 1 2 3 4, then the pearl. Right, so, and now what I'm going to do, which I'm going to come, I need to sew these 3 together as well. So I'm going to go pearl, pearl, pearl. I'm going to pick up 1 pearl, which I'm going to go through all of them, so kind of start to pull it in. Then I'm going to go to the 2 seed beads. I'm going to pick up the crystal now, just need a couple more crystals. I'm going to pick up the crystal now. I'm going to go back towards the end, kind of make sure that crystal goes inside, along the pearl, down those 2 seeds to the end of those 4, pick up a pearl, come down these two, just the two, not the four, go into the crystal. Which one is easier? What do you think? This method, when we're gonna be zipping it up, or the other method where we like sort of did it in a cubic right angle weave? So which one is easier, from flat? What do you think? Which one looks easier, from flat to turning it into a curve, or doing it sort of in the round, the tubular one straight away? Some flat to turning into tubular, or tubular? Which I can go through the crystal again if I like, before I get to the end. And the two seeds, and picking up another Trace is saying flat, and then picking up another one of the pearls, pulling this tight. So yes, I can see already that the pearl's kind of fighting with the crystal, wanting to push the crystal in even more, because there is kind of not enough room. So perhaps we will have to add something else on the top into the 2 seed bead, because there is like thread path showing where it needs to, where it should be sitting. Flats looks easier. Linda saying flat. Yeah, I think so too. But then there's nothing says that we kind of can't do both, a mixture of both. So to add the sides flat ish. It's because I could add a side here now and then add the crystal. So let me just get to the end and I'll show you what I mean. So through the crystal, I'm just going to add the next pearl into these 2 seeds. So because we got the end is kind of like flat there, I'm gonna come back to the 2 seed beads. So you could do a hybrid in between, coming through the crystal. So I'm gonna add, going up. I think the pearl on the top is just not really big enough to, not the kind of right shape. And can you see like it's curving? So if you wanted a curved shape perhaps, but is not, it doesn't fit as nicely. Even the bugle fitted nicer than this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add the crystal in here. I just need one more crystal of the strand. So I'm going to go up the first 2 seed beads. So this is our last unit, which is like iffy beading. I'm going to go up the first 2. I'm going to pick up the crystal, come down as I would be adding the crystal normally, go into the pearl, and like normally what we would do, we would then sort of come into the crystal and add the pearl. But instead of doing that, if I go all the way to the top on one side of the crystal, because I kind of have got like a flat, so through the pearl, I'm gonna do exactly what I did there. So 1, 2, 4 seeds. I'm gonna pick up a pearl and another 4 seeds. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna come through this pearl again and the pearl in front. Then picking up, just need a few more pearls, picking up 4 seed beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the pearl. then coming down these two. So we kind of like doing the same as we did at the beginning, but we attaching it to the and into that pearl. So picking up 4 seeds again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the pearl coming through these seeds and through the pearl. And what we're going to do now, we're going to pick up the pearl what we need. So if I pick up 1 pearl, oh yeah, but will that will want sew it to there, so I would have to go around it again, because that pearl is kind of not, because what I was thinking, if I come back towards the crystal now, just like that, that will add that pearl in, but then what happens is those 2 pearls are not secured together, and then I go through the crystal. Definitely worth to play with it this way as well, because I'm sure we could come up with a thread path which would suit, because now I have to go around these pearls again to sew them together. But then maybe that's a good idea, because maybe then that will tighten them up completely. And then when I get to the top is when I would add the crystal, and then I could do sort of the flat bit before I do the curvy bit. Does this make sense? Is it too bulky for the ring? I think for the top of the ring, you could do it for the top of the ring, but I would probably, if I wanted it as a ring, I would probably do it in 15s. And oh, I know. Oh no, that's fine. I thought like if I sew it together, I'm going to put the neck crystal on, but I think it will be fine. I got a rogue thread there. Let's pull that out. So I do think if I did it as a ring, I would probably do it with 15s, just sort of I have a daintier finish. So I'm going to pick up the crystal, go down those 2 seed beads along that, and then we're getting to the end again, and they would come together again, sort of adding the flat bit, then the curvy bit. Need to adjust because the pearl at the top is not, it's going to focus in if I pull it in a bit more. So the pearl on, like there is too much thread. You can see like it's buckling a little bit. So need to kind of work out a different, I think probably that's where it focuses the most, a different beads, but I think the idea works. And it would be nice to maybe do it flat and then join it up all the way. That would be the easiest way. Or work out a better thread path for the hybrid. I'm gonna call it the hybrid now. I was going to ask you about, wouldn't it make everything more secure to go through again with thread? Yeah, it would, but I think there's only so many times you can go through each one of those threads. Definitely, I love the pearls on the side. I love the pearls on the bottom, but at the top here, we need something else. We just need it a little bit bigger, I think, because if you think about it, from sort of maths point of view, you got a 4mm by 6mm bead, and we are forcing a 3mm in the 4mm gap. So I do think we need something just a little bit wider, or maybe 2 microcrystals, or maybe something a little bit different, so we can because like one side is pulled together more than the other, and then it's went a bit lopsided, so the pearls on the top just doesn't want to, need something bigger, or an extra seed bead perhaps in between. Ooh, that would work. So The other thing what we could do is, because that's where it's kind of lagging in the middle, that we could add an extra seed bead in as we're doing the rounds. That would then help these two beads to sit more towards the pearl. And then if you only have 4 seed beads at the bottom, then it will naturally be curvy, because we're adding another seed bead on the top. So I think that would definitely, I'll have a little play with this this week, because this really looks something like this. Like I love geometric shapes, and I love working in sort of 3D instead of flat, but I also like making it easy, because life, I think everything has to be easy. Love this idea. I'll play with it this week. Linda, see, I'm loving this. Right, I do like it with the pearls, but needs tweaking. Yeah, absolutely needs tweaking. There's nothing is the best sort of, you know, it's just the first draft, but this is why, this is how I do it. Sometimes I sit down and play all evening, or sometimes I play a day, sometimes I play 2 days with something before it becomes something else. But it's only by sitting down and trying the different beads and trying different techniques and trying adding beads or taking beads away, it works. Right, I'm gonna have to go because the sun's gonna go down. Well, the sun is gone down, but it's still very light outside. But I just want to run Roxy down to the seafront so she can have a run, as we haven't had a walk today yet. Everybody have a beautiful evening. Thank you so much for turning up. I really appreciate it. Every single like, every single sub, it really helps the channel out. So please consider to sub as well, because it will let you know next time when I go live or when I upload a video. So everybody have a beautiful week. I'll be back next Wednesday. I'm not sure what we're going to play if we do next Wednesday. Depends what the inspiration hit, but perhaps I'll put I'll put a post up either here on YouTube or on Facebook to see what do you want to see, and what would you like to play with, because we could do anything really. We could play with anything. The beads, the word is our oyster, the beads is our oyster here, because we got so many beads and so many different sizes. We just want to play with it all the time. Everybody have a beautiful weekend, and I'll see you very, very soon. Thank you. I'm just going to pop this here, just sort of, this is what we did. I always usually bring it in, but to be honest, now looking at it going back, I quite like just the seed beads on the top as well. So I'm definitely going to be playing with this. Everybody have a good week, and I see you.